welcome to Joy in Our Town, TBN, Kansas City. I am your host, Lindsay Hardiman, and today we are joined with St. Joseph City Manager Bruce Woody. Bruce Woody, welcome to the show.
Thank you for the invitation to join you.
So thank you for joining us. Let's open up by giving us some information about yourself.
Okay. I'm the city manager with the city of St. Joseph. I've been in that position about 4.5 years. Prior to that, I was the Public Works Director for about 16 years. Prior to coming to St. Joseph, I worked for the city of Kansas City, Kansas for about 9 years.
All right, and what is your role and responsibility as the city of St. Joseph City Manager?
Well, the city of St. Joseph has a council manager form of government. So the public elects 9 members of our city council, a mayor and 8 council members. They in turn then hire 2 staff, a city clerk and a city manager. That's my position as city manager. My role and responsibilities are then to administer the goals, missions, and priorities of the city council. I hire and oversee all of the city staff.
All right, and how closely do you work with the city council?
Because I'm that interface between administration and city council, I work very closely with our city council. I make sure that all of the hired administrative city staff are following the goals and priorities of city council and working together to achieve their mission for the organization.
All right, so you said you work real closely with the city council. So do you have any voting rights at the city council meetings?
No, under a city council manager form of government, the council is the only one that has the elected authority to vote on ordinances and resolutions and make policy. However, our charter does allow for me to participate in that discussion, provide information, but I don't have any voting rights.
Okay, so are residents invited to these type of city council meetings?
Absolutely. We have a city council meeting every 2 weeks on a Monday evening at 7 p.m. And the public is very much invited and encouraged to attend. But we realize that also people have busy lives and can't always attend and keep up with things. So we also provide the service of broadcasting that event live. And we also record it and produce copies of it on our public access channel 19 a couple times later in the week. The public can also go to our website and can look at archived or current versions of the city council meetings and view those at that location.
All right, so let's go ahead and put that information on the screen. As Bruce Woody just said, you can visit the website if you would like to watch the meetings. And if you want to contact them, the phone number is 816-271-4610. And that website is stjoemo.info. That is stjoemo.info. All right, so you said that these meetings are held every 2 weeks, and they're usually in the evening around 7 p.m., but where are they held?
They're held on the 3rd floor of City Hall, which is at 1100 Frederick Avenue. That's where the council chambers are.
So at these meetings, let's say a resident wants to address the council, what type of procedure can they go through? Are they allowed to address the council?
They absolutely are. I would encourage someone, if they know in advance that they have an issue, that they would contact the city clerk's office. By doing that, that allows them to be formally on the agenda to be sure that they're not overlooked at the end. If they're shy to raise their hands, we'll actually call on you. But there is on the agenda every time a public comment period at the end of the agenda where anybody from the audience can stand up and have 5 minutes to address the city council.
And what's the best way to contact the city clerk?
You can do it through the same number you just talked about,
Okay.
and we'll put you in touch with the clerk.
All right, that's wonderful. And do you feel that it's important for citizens to get involved and come to these meetings?
Absolutely. The importance of the public involvement can't be understated. Our city council's primary responsibilities are to reflect the values of the community and the priorities of the community, and the best way that they receive that information from their constituents is through interaction with the public. So whether it's attending a meeting, making a phone call, sending an email, sending a letter, whatever way is convenient for the public to communicate with our city council members helps them be informed about priorities and helps make them make a more informed decision.
All right, so we talked about how it's important for them to get involved so they can stay up to date with the community. But how does your department notify of different emergency situations? What's the process with that?
For emergency situations? We do have a public access channel on Channel 19 where we produce information. We also have the city's website where we provide information. We regularly produce press releases to all various media outlets, radio, television, cable outlets, when there are matters of significant concern, whether it be a flood or tornado, an impending weather issue, a local emergency that might be police or fire related, street closures, those sorts of things.
Okay, so let's say there is a flood or anything like that and their home is flooded. Do you all provide any type of shelter?
Yes, the city of St. Joseph, like most communities, has an emergency operations plan. In fact, we even have a position called emergency manager that specifically coordinates those sorts of things. The primary responding departments are police, fire, public works, and health departments. But depending whether the emergency is any of those we've mentioned, different ones will respond in different ways. And providing shelter is one of those responses that we have.
Are there different locations, or is there a set location for each time? Or different
it really depends on the scope of the emergency and the geographical location of the emergency. We coordinate with the school district, houses of worship, and the Red Cross and other facilities. So depending on the need, it's a different response if we're helping one homeowner who had a fire in their home versus if there's flooding that may be affected 4 to 6 square blocks of area and several people involved.
All right. So we know how they can get in contact if they have any emergency situation, if it's that extreme to it. But let's go and talk about the budget. How does St. Joseph determine what the budget is for the city?
Well, the city of St. Joseph has an annual budget that runs from July 1st each year to June 30 of the following year.
Okay.
Quite a bit of that is regular annual operating cost associated with having the same staff year in, year out. Police and fire, et cetera, are the most commonly thought of services. So a fair amount of it's fairly steady year to year. The part that's changes or is discretionary has more to do with capital projects than anything else, or other specific initiatives of the council. Our administrative staff puts together estimates and provides information, and I prepare a recommended budget to the city council in late April, early May each year. And we spend 2 to 3 weeks with City Council going over those priorities in order to formulate a final budget in preparation for July 1.
All right, so let's take a few moments to put some information on the screen. If you are just now viewing us, or if you would like to contact the City Manager Office, you can give them a call at 816-271-4610, or visit their website on the screen at stjomo.info. That is stjoemo.info. All right, so how closely do you work with police and law enforcement?
Quite a bit. The city of St. Joseph has 8 departments, and the 3 largest of those are police, fire, and public works. Each one has a director. We have a fire chief, police chief, and director of public works, and I am their immediate supervisor. Now, those directors are specialists in their areas, and I rely heavily on them for the specific direction of their departments. But their overall missions and goals and how they provide their services, I help oversee it and make sure it's in conformance with council's goals.
All right, so what do you think is the biggest crime issue in the St. Joseph community?
Crime is a little bit up this past year, probably more in the area of auto theft than anything else, but that is somewhat cyclic. We're a small enough community that those statistics can be influenced surprisingly by just 1 or 2 individuals who maybe go on a brief little spree, and when they're captured, then the statistics fall back to our normal standards. We're lucky being a small community that we're not rural in nature. We're certainly very urban, but we're far and away enough from the Kansas City area that we enjoy a relatively low crime rate.
All right, so aside of crime, as the city manager, what other areas of concerns do you see in St. Joseph?
Well, we recently came through a series of planning meetings with our city council, and they established some goals which include continued investment in downtown. They also want to pursue riverfront development. A few years ago, we passed a hotel-motel tax that provides some funding specifically for riverfront development. So we want to look at a whole host of potential opportunities. We want to refurbish our riverfront park. There's some pretty keen interest in possibly having an inland marina off of the Missouri River, possibly in the area of Heritage Park or our nature center along the riverfront. So those are some pretty strong initiatives of our council.
So some big things coming up for the St. Joseph area.
Hopefully so. We have to work through costs and expenditures, but yes, our council has some very important plans for our community.
All right, and how do you think the community can come together to work and, assist you all in getting these plans in motion or, alleviating those crime issues?
As far as the capital plans we just talked about, the process we go through to choose locations and the scope of a project involves an awful lot of public input. That helps us decide whether to increase or decrease the scope depending on the amount of community support. Projects aren't cheap. Right. We have certain funding sources through capital improvement programs, but if the interest of the community is larger than what we have available, then it may or may not involve other initiatives to generate revenue. General obligation bonds or something like that as an example. Or it may be that the community wants us to stay within certain financial constraints, and that kind of input is vital from the general public. As far as the police aspect, we have a TIPS hotline, and our police department has a very good outreach program with homeowners associations for trying to make sure we have good communications with the police department.
All right, so you talked about how they can get in contact with the police department. What is the main way that you think is to get their interest in the issues out? Because you said it takes the public to, let you all know how y'all should move. So what is the main way they should contact you? What do you suggest?
They can either contact a city manager's department or city manager's office directly through the phone numbers or the website that you've given. There's also ways through our website to in information for your individual council member if you'd like to contact them directly, or you can do it through administration, either one.
All right, and in closing, do you all accept volunteers, or how can someone get involved?
Yes, we do. We have a large number of boards and commissions in which if you have an interest to serve on a particular board or commission, you can either contact a council member directly or our city clerk to express an interest in a given subject area, because that's yet another way that we get input from the general public about goals and priorities.
All right, well, Bruce Modi, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for the invitation.
And thank you, viewers, for joining us with Joy in Our Town, TBN, Kansas City. I am your host, Lindsay Hardiman, and have a great day.
KTAJ TV 16 would like to encourage you to partner with TBN in collecting items for a local outreach ministry. The Grace House, located at 2638 Lafayette in St. Joseph, is accepting your gently used clothing and household items. Right now, the biggest need is for hats, gloves, blankets, and coats. All items can be dropped off at the Grace House Tuesdays from 7 a.m. until 4:30 p.m. and on Thursdays and Saturdays from 7 a.m. until noon. Please call 816-262-9401 for more information.
You were never meant to carry the burdens you bear. You no longer have to live with guilt or shame. God is waiting for you, and He wants to set you free. Christ came to give you an abundant life. At the Holy Land Experience in Orlando, Florida, the power of God is transforming lives. Healings, baptisms of the Holy Spirit, salvations, and forgiveness are happening in record numbers. So come, receive your miracle. God is waiting for you.
Hello and welcome to Joy in Our Town, TBN, Kansas City. I am your host, Lindsay Hardiman, and today we are joined with the Mrs. Kimber Givner of the Phoenix Family Organization, who is going to speak with us about the various families in our community and how her organization, Phoenix Family, works to help and support these families. Mrs. Kimber, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. So let's open up by telling us about your position within the Phoenix Family Organization.
Sure. I'm lucky enough and privileged to serve as the executive director of Phoenix Family. Proudly served there for the last 17 years, and we've grown definitively over that time and serve almost 6,000 residents every day.
That's wonderful. And what is the mission of this organization?
Our goal is really to empower people that are living in low-income housing, and that can mean a lot of different things for many different people. So we might see families who move in who are homeless or near homelessness, and so helping them to achieve self-sufficiency. And on the flip side, our 1,500 seniors that we work with, helping them to remain independently living.
All right, so you said for the low-income families, but what other families can receive help for this? So they have to be low income, but are there other requirements they must meet?
No, really, the folks that are not only living in the housing communities where we provide services, and we're here in the metro, we're also in Iowa and in Kansas, but primarily they either live in the housing community that we're located or in the surrounding neighborhood. So we really reach out and create a community.
All right, how many communities do you have? I know you said the various areas, but how many total?
Sure, 33. So that's, and I like to tell folks we're probably in their backyard, where they live, work, and play. And so we'd love for them to come out and see what we do and become a volunteer.
All right, so how can they get involved and be a volunteer with this organization?
Absolutely. I would encourage them to definitively go out to phoenixfamily.org. That's our website. And we always have volunteer opportunities listed there. And specifically, we need reading coaches. We've found that the youth that we work with, when we did some diagnostic testing, and our youth often were 6 months to 2 years behind. And we created the HIKE reading program, which is Help Instill the Key to Education. And through that program, we partner up mentors, our volunteers, to work directly one-on-one with our youth so that they can work toward building their literacy, because we really feel like when we work toward eliminating the literacy gap, it is building on the achievement gap. And so we really think that this is an important program and marries together our volunteers with what I like to say some of our favorite folks, which is our young people in the community.
Right. We need a helping hand for the young people, considering the fact they are the future.
Absolutely.
Of our generation.
And they're great kids. I guarantee that if folks come out and they spend any time with us at all, they'll see that you're really getting so much more when you give back.
All right, so the people that are involved with the HIKE program, they're volunteers?
Absolutely.
Do they have to go through any type of training for that?
We have a volunteer orientation, but we make it really easy for you. One, we make it easy so you can sign up right online and you can decide what works for your schedule. And so we'd love to have you once a week. You could come every other week, once a month, but we really like to create a consistency so that the kids know that you're coming and they really look forward to seeing you. So we'll go through a small orientation, and then what we do is we have all the supplies ready for you. Again, we want to make it easy for our volunteers. We know that the folks coming are not teachers, so we have a curriculum already laid out, and we make it fun. I mean, that's probably my favorite part, is enjoying that time with the kids.
That's wonderful. All right, so we're going to take a few moments to put some information on the screen. If you would like to be one of the volunteers to help out this organization, you can give them a call at 816-561-1033 or visit the website, which is on your screen, at phoenixfamily.org. Again, that is phoenixfamily.org. Okay, so we talked about the literacy and the HIKE program to help to get the kids ready, but what other services does Phoenix Family provide?
You bet. Most of the families that we work with may have an average income of about $6,000 a year. That's all sources going in. So there are a lot of needs because many of the families that come to us are homeless or near homelessness. Many times we have needs to help build up that home so that it's more than just four walls and a roof. So we often need furniture for those families. We may need food pantry items for families, school supplies. Those are always things when you're trying to I say either build or rebuild your household, because we have a number of families who may have left domestic violence situations. We're working to create a sustainable home for that entire family. So I would say that any help that folks can give related to building that home is always appreciated.
Okay, and how does someone that needs help, like a person or a family, get these services from your organization? Like, how do they reach out to get this help?
Well, the good news is we're located right on site where our families and our seniors live, so that we are the staple in the community. So what's unique about Phoenix Family is many services, the people in the community have to go to them. We're right there. So every day, for example, when the kids get off the school bus, they'll come to our community room and they can be right there and then walk home afterward. For our adult residents, they come down, we help them to get a job, get a better job. Many are learning to use the computer for the first time, building those resumes, job placement, I like to say job readiness, and retention. But then also on the flip side, working with our older adults, they're also learning to use the computer. Some even now I have some residents who actually have showed me how to use Instagram. So I didn't know how to do that. Nothing like a little 80-year-old young woman showing you like, oh, you don't know how to use that?
Right.
So technology is definitely part of the continuum for many of our residents, and we have computer labs at all of those sites. We always need volunteers also to come in who'd be willing to sit down with folks and show them how to use those and teach them basic skills.
Okay, and I know that you said they can come into the on-site all the time, but is it 24 hours? Like, is there a certain time it shut down? Like, are these computer labs always accessible?
Sure. When we really need volunteers would be, of course, during daytime, but we always want to accommodate with work schedules too. So we're there in the evenings, particularly if our after-school programs. Those run when the kids are there, which is obviously usually 4 to 6:30, 7 p.m. And so we always need volunteers then. We also have volunteers who may come in and help us. We get a lot of clothing donations for our clothing and furniture pantries. We always can use volunteer groups who want to come in and help us organize that, sort through that, help sort and put food on our shelves. So absolutely.
That is wonderful. You have a lot of different options and organizations for this.
Yeah, I'll tell you that for folks who want to get involved and want to be invested in the community, they can't go wrong. We'll put them to work.
All right, that's wonderful. All right, so you said about the after-school care that you all provide, but let's say they don't go to school. Is there anything for the younger ones who are not yet in school?
Sure, we also offer preschool and early childhood programs. We don't offer that on a daily basis, but we have special programs depending on the location of the community where we work with the little ones. For example, we have a community right in the heart of Midtown where we've brought in some early education specialists who will work with the kids, building on their colors, letters, numbers, and also helping to teach mom about parenting and, positive discipline, et cetera. So.
All right, so do you see a lot of single family homes, or is there a mixture?
Primarily single head of household. About 95% of the families that we work with are single head of household. And so for those that are the two-parent household, there's still a lot of needs there. We serve a number of families as well that English is a first language for them, is a second language for them. And so the child may be the first person in their home who speaks English fluently. So everything from having classes available to them for learning English, citizenship classes, those type of things. So really important to look at what the needs of each individual community is.
That is so amazing.
Thank
All
you.
right, so you said that you have, different programs for the youth and then for the adults, and then you mentioned seniors. And so being on your website, I've seen a program called the Senior Empowerment Program. Can you give us a bit of information about that?
You bet. I will say that I think the senior population is one that's often overlooked, and there's a lot of assumptions about once you reach a certain age, your productivity. I'll tell you, that is very wrong when you come out to Phoenix Family and you see our very active residents. And I think one of the reasons that they are so independent and active is we create opportunities to do so. We do health and wellness education programs, nutrition programs. We help them with learning about eligibility for services through Social Security Administration, could be easy questions that you and I may think like, okay, you should be able to read this form and understand this Medicare, and it's 17 pages long. You know, this is not a bill. But coming in and working with them to provide that support and education, because many of them don't have family that live in the area. And so this is what makes this place a home.
Okay, so you have all these different programs for various individuals, but do you all host any events?
Absolutely. At every community within itself always has lots of activities going on, whether it is a small fundraiser, it may be hosting, you know, on the senior site, could be those bake sales, et cetera. But we have an annual gala in the spring, and we always encourage folks, if they would like to get more involved as either a committee member or they want to learn more about Phoenix Family, this is a great way to do that, but always by volunteering. We always can put you to work, and if you have a particular area of town you'd like to work in, we'll make it happen, or a particular population. We are so thrilled to have people in the community who want to invest in Phoenix Family.
Okay, so let's put some information on the screen for our viewers at home. As you've heard her say, they're looking for volunteers all the time. So if you would like to volunteer with this organization or just get more information, please give them a call at 816-561-1033, or again, visit the website at phoenixfamily.org. That is phoenixfamily.org. Okay, so how many families have you helped roughly, like throughout the years that you've been working here?
Oh, wow. You know, tens of thousands for sure. And, you know, we're lucky enough also sometimes when families do move out of the housing communities that we work with, we still stay connected to them. Some of my favorite stories, if you will, are related to those who have come into the program and we've been able to be part of their lives, see successes, attend graduations, attend weddings, attend, you know, christenings, whatever it may be. We are just really honored to have people allow us into a very intimate part of their life. And, you know, this is a vulnerable time for most of our seniors and families, and it's not always easy to ask for help. And so we're really there so that they know we have access to services and resources, and folks who want to be invested and contribute in the community, they can. It could be a companion program in working with our residents. You know, the sky's really the limit, and the reason I do what I do every day is because I have the privilege to work side by side with so many wonderful people.
That is so wonderful. All right, well, thank you, Ms. Kimber, for joining us.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
All right, thank you, and thank you, viewers, for tuning in today with Joy in Our Town, TBN, Kansas City. I am your host, Lindsay Hardiman, and have a great day.
This program has been sponsored by the Trinity Broadcasting Network and made possible by your telephone dollars. Your continual support can keep Joy in Our Town brought to your home every day. So write Joy in Our Town, P.O. Box A, Santa Ana, California, 92711.